Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 27th of February. I'm going to give you some standout details to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then go through each of the 12 signs from Aries through to Pisces, which you can relate to in terms of your sun or your ascendant. The choice is yours. Now, as this week begins, there is a magnificent conjunction between Venus and Jupiter, and it is also going to get a lot of comment. And rightly, these are the two planets of the two benefics in traditional astrology: lesser Venus, greater Jupiter. Venus is Jupiter's daughter in mythology. But in the sign of Aries, of course, Venus is technically detrimented. But I think what Venus does is just gives us in Aries a greater desire to go for what we want, the things that we're passionate about. So Jupiter, of course, can also be very dynamic in Aries. So that's all a lot to do with thrust, and it could create, by being in the moment and having the confidence to listen to our instincts, which is a very Aries type of energy, some good fortune could unfold. But there is also a quarter moon on Monday in the sign of Gemini, and that's house 3. The sun is in house 12. A third house 12 house square suggests that if we're a little bit too open with information, especially to people we don't know very well, or we let something slip that should be kept in confidence, or we get caught up in some gossip doing the rounds, it's not necessarily going to be a good thing. Also, Venus and Jupiter could make us a little bit too open, a bit too spontaneous. So I think it's important to measure what we say in a careful way. And this is emphasised furthermore because by the middle of the week, Mercury comes into a very powerful conjunction with Saturn. And of course, Mercury is exalted in the sign of Aquarius, and Saturn is about to say au revoir to this sign and move into the sign of Pisces. So they're both about to move because Mercury moves on Thursday into Pisces, where of course it's also detrimented. But this just suggests that when it comes to long-term plans or our friendships, the need to really be clear about what we want and what we say is going to be absolutely essential. If you're not quite sure about a situation, something could seem rather oppressive. Maybe it's someone's point of view. Maybe someone can seem a little bit dour or limited in their response. But I take you back to that quarter moon because that provides the backdrop of energy for the whole of this week. And that's suggesting that we don't buy in too much to some of the negativity that might be doing the rounds, and we embrace some of the positivity that we can get from Venus's conjunction with Jupiter, which itself will come into a peak on the 2nd of March. So a lot of exciting possibilities this week, but please stay with me for your full sun sign forecast. But if you would like to grow beyond this zodiac insight, if you give me 3 pieces of your personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can provide you with a life roadmap that can give you an awful amount of extra information to help guide your moves. You can become much more intimately aware of some of the patterns which have repeated themselves in your life, the more challenging ones and the more positive ones. Also, in my special package of 30% off, you can get your 12-month personal forecast. Now, these reports are totally unique to each person I produce them for, so they give you an opportunity to gain searing insights above just zodiac horoscopes. So Cancer, your week commencing the 27th of February forecast sees the quarter moon in the tender 12th house, where you already have Mars. Of course, Mars will be coming to your sign on the 25th of March. That's something to really look forward to. But the quarter moon is angling to the sun in the 9th house. So that's quite an amplifying angle around sensitivities. The great news, however, is that with Venus and Jupiter combining in your 10th house, your acute awareness to undercurrents or just how people feel can actually serve as a real asset, because their combination is in a part of your situation that can help you to understand perhaps some of the senses around politics in the workplace, or even just being quite aware of where trends may be developing in a wider way around fashion, for example, around decoration. So I think you can turn that quarter moon to your advantage. The combination between Mercury and Saturn really asks you to think very seriously about longer term resources or a business investment. If something has been ongoing over the last couple of years and it has proved to be quite bruising, perhaps because of COVID, then the fallout from the Ukrainian war, the cost of living rises, maybe there is a big decision that you do have to make. But with Mercury then making its way into Pisces later this week, although for us all that is a technically debilitated location for Mercury, for you it can give you a prod to go into something that's different, varied, exciting, perhaps even trying to travel somewhere, to break out in some way. So even if something does reach a make or break decision, your diplomacy, Venus and Jupiter, your sensitivity, the quarter moon, your practicality, Mercury's combination with Saturn, and the Sun, and ultimately Mercury in the 9th house, can see you still travel forwards as this week draws to a close into new and more exciting territory, if that's what you decide to do. Shake things up, experiment, book a holiday, engage in something that's uplifting for the soul, or even some higher education. I think as this week draws to a close, you will in some way find the inner alchemy to make this week work out for you. It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, comment or subscribe.